What if loneliness wasn't a phase, but the default state of being human? Not something you fall into, something you're born into. Loneliness wouldn't be a problem. It would be normal. Loneliness is usually treated as a failure, a lack of friends, a lack of love, a lack of connection, something to fix. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if loneliness isn't caused by isolation, but by consciousness? The moment a mind becomes aware of itself, it becomes separate from others, from the world, from everything it observes. Loneliness may not begin when connection ends. It may begin when awareness starts. Humans are born dependent, but not connected. Connection is learned, built slowly through language, mirroring, shared meaning. But even in a crowded room, the mind remains alone inside itself. No one feels your thoughts. No one experiences your memories. No one fully shares your inner world. Loneliness exists even in intimacy. Most of the time, it's just quiet enough that we don't notice it. Now imagine a world where this is acknowledged, not denied, not pathologized, accepted as the baseline. If loneliness were the default, relationships would change. They wouldn't promise completion. They wouldn't promise escape. They would be temporary reliefs, not solutions. People wouldn't seek others to feel whole, but to feel accompanied. Silence wouldn't signal failure. Being alone wouldn't feel abnormal. Social pressure would weaken. There would be fewer desperate connections, fewer forced bonds, fewer expectations placed on others to fill internal gaps they cannot reach. Loneliness would stop being an emergency. It would become background noise. Identity would shift. People wouldn't define themselves by how connected they appear. Being alone wouldn't threaten self-worth. Success wouldn't guarantee relief. Relationships wouldn't erase the feeling. Loneliness would no longer mean something is wrong. It would simply mean you are conscious. In this world, meaning wouldn't come from belonging. It would come from how one chooses to exist with solitude. Loneliness feels like something to escape. But if it's the default, escaping it was never possible. Only avoiding it. Constant noise, constant distraction, constant connection attempts. What if those behaviors exist? Not because loneliness is abnormal, but because it's fundamental? If loneliness is the baseline, connection becomes a choice, not a requirement, not a dependency. And that changes everything. So the question remains, what if loneliness isn't a failure of connection, but the quiet condition of being aware? This was a social experiment by AC Society.